So I'm making this video because I got a nostalgia trip from playing Vikings, and I want to talk about the time I played Clash of Kings. Now I made multiple accounts over the course of several years, but I'm going with the longest running account. So I made an account and I started off in a level 2 resource area, and a decent start to be honest with you, but I still prefer level 3 areas for starting. But whatever, that's besides the point. So I had a general idea on how to do things as I played COK already, but I still failed to stick to my goal of getting to level 16. I naively thought that getting to level 10 completely topped off was the best path to make, meaning I upgraded my castle to level 2 and then upgraded everything to level 2 and so on and so forth, including the research section and so on and so forth to level 10, which takes times and resources, and my builders were sitting idles at times, something that you'd never want and something you can buy, and since you can buy double builders with a little gold, even my spare builders were sitting idle at one point. This was a grave mistake because while I got to level 10 castle with everything level 10, my overall power tanked as I could not upgrade my troops level beyond a certain point, as my barracks were level 10. I cannot get any higher level troops than the barracks themselves. Another early game mistake was to feed my dragon too much resources when I was barely making the cut myself, so that makes shit difficult. Another mistake was to build a balanced army, meaning there are 4 different types of troops in the game, and I would build an army like if there was 10,000 troops in a march, I would have 2,500 of each type of troop, which is good for attacking and defending but not for collecting resources. The way that is preferable, which I learned way too late into the game, was to use level 1 heavy weapon troops like ballista and stuff like that for picking up resources. They have the heaviest payload limit, and since they are level 1, even if they get attacked, it won't take much resources to heal them in the hospital, unlike the full legion. But I sent my full attack legion together, which when they got attacked by a bigger account made a big dent in my resources. At first it was not, nothing exceptional, but it got exceptional as I moved forward. Then I started my own clan instead of joining one, which was an agonizing experience as I was strong enough as an individual, but 1,000,000 power is not enough to be a clan leader. I ended up only a few inactive accounts joined for my fucking clan, and they immediately went offline. That was fucking shit. And I only had like one other active account that joined, and I sent him in a bigger guild to spy on them, which I thought would get me some like info, like what are good attacking areas, some weak castles or something. I only ended up with the guy leaving for good for the big guild. The only thing that came to mind when I saw that was like, what did I expect, like honestly. After that I joined some low ranking guild which was mostly inactive, and then there isn't much to talk about really at that point. I essentially got to level 16 castle, leveled up my dragon. I had 1 strong legion and 2 weak legions for killing stronger and weaker monsters respectively. Monster killing and resource gathering was a great way to get materials to forge and to deck out your character, which was separate from the hero, by the way. The hero had their own fucking deck, the fucking armory, and your main character obviously had a different one. I would recommend getting to level 10 castle, then level 16, and then level 26 while focusing on the soldier training buildings and research buildings. It was an awful time after this, constantly getting attacked and teleporting all over the map, lost bunch of gold, loads of resources. The only reason I survived was because my farms were producing enough, so I kinda just hold in my castle for a while. Anyway, I somehow upgraded to level 26 castle. At this point most of everything is unlocked, and I had 2 dragons, 3 fully stacked legions, some spare level 1 troops for gathering. The only problem at this level is that the upkeep of so many soldiers is ridiculously high, and if your farms are not upgraded, then you will have to gather food, which gives your enemy an opportunity to attack your troops. So at some point you will have to upgrade your farms, so you can just hole up in the castle with the peace shield for a few days. Priorities in a descending order would be first food, then wood, then iron, and lastly mithril. Wood would be more important than food early game, but later in the game food will also become very important, more important than wood, to be honest with you. Because you might remember from the Vikings video that at one point several 26 level castles were chasing me around the map. For 3 whole days I kept teleporting and made sure not to send my troops out unless I was sending them to collect in the clan owned farms. And at this point your troops are strong enough to mine gold efficiently, so you can send them for that. Though prefer using level 1 troops until you're sure there's a peace in the server, so you won't get attacked, or like some area that's owned by your clan so that people would be afraid to attack you there. At level 26 castle, there are only the top players to worry about, like the top 50 usually have prestige castles. After level 30, there is a very steep hill to climb to get to prestige 6 castles, which is the highest level castle you can get to. Level 30 castle are dangerous to you, but like if you're level 26, they won't gain much from attacking, and also honestly would lose much from attacking your castle. So the only one to break you would be a castle at prestige 1, because the amount of buffs a prestige 1 castle gets is ridiculous. Like it's in its own league. It would take 3 to 4 level 30 castles to do a mega rally to really damage prestige 1 castle, as far as I can remember. Kingdom king selection is bloody, so don't participate until you're sure you're strong enough, your guild is ready. 2 to 3 guilds would choose one king, then duke it out with the opposing guild who have chosen their own king, because whosoever become the king can give out buffs and debuffs to a lot of people. It's a very chaotic period for the kingdom. At this point, I joined the top clan of the kingdom because the third strongest clan was very hostile, completely decimated the server. No small castle or guild could stand up until they paid tribute or like protection money to them, and the top 2 clans didn't pay much attention to them, which I wanted to change. Now real quick, the guild's hierarchy was as such. There are 5 levels of members, R5 being the guild leader, R1 being new member. The higher ranking, the more you're allowed to do in the guild, from kicking out members to placing guild buildings. While the R4, there are 4 positions to hold. It was diplomat, god of war, teacher, and recruiter, I believe. I think it was not recruiter, it was HR manager or something like that. Yeah, essentially a recruiter or HR, whatever, I believe. Each with their own self-explanatory rules. I'm not going to explain every single one of them, obviously you can tell. Now the top guild which I was in was fairly active and decent one. The top second guild was extremely in-group, to the point where it won't even talk to others. And that's when the power move happened that shook the fucking kingdom. The first guild, which I was in, kicked out most of his members, including me. Then the top players of the first guild left the first guild and joined the third top guild, which was the hostile one. And it turns out that the first guild was just a cover and like a information gathering network for the third guild. And that's not enough. The second guild was actually a farm guild for the third guild. A quick explanation: farm accounts are used for gathering resources for the main account. Farm guilds are essentially filled with farm accounts for the whole main guild. So the power structure completely shifted. The third guild became the first and was a purely Chinese guild, no other country members in sight, and the second top guild became the farm, as I said, with a few non-Chinese players from the former first guild that joined the second guild, and they were running the second guild. The third guild now became a Russian guild who had no affiliations, and I became guildless. And sort of for a while I was just roaming around the map, to be honest with you, trying to figure out what to do. I then joined the 5th top ranking guild, which was filled with unusually nice people. They were breath of fresh air, because most conversations I had were either business, threats, or shit talk. I joined them when I was like 26 or 27 level castle. We made several guild bases, donated resources, helped members who needed resources when they were nearing a castle upgrade. Like once I needed iron for an upgrade, I asked once in the guild chat and I had iron coming in across the map. Everyone gave what they could, like as little as 2k to 40k. Obviously I gave my fair share too to others, helped even each other out. Fun times, honestly. But for the kingdom, these were tough times. A lot of the small to medium guilds became farm guilds for the Chinese guild, and you would have 15 level castles threatening you because they had the backing of the Chinese guilds, and it was fucking rough, honestly. But inside the guild it was fairly fun still. But we weren't going down that easy. We were focused on steady upgrading, peace shielding, and reinforcing allies who couldn't afford peace shields. We kept upgrading and had like 4 forts in a couple of months. We also surpassed the Russian guild and the second level farm guild, and became the second strongest guild behind the Chinese. As for me, I realized until I get to prestige 1 I can contribute to the guild, so I threw all I had in my upgrade towards prestige. The guild also helped me lots. I eventually got to prestige 1. That's when I took the job of a diplomat in the guild, as I became an R4. That's when I talked to the guild leader and the rest of the R4. We needed to fight back because the Chinese were choosing the king and they would put like debuffs on us. So I started talking to the Russian guild, other guilds as low as top 20 guilds. After about like 2 months of talking and trading, the Russian guild decided to combine with us. All the strongest member of the guild joined our guild, and some small guilds with strong castles also joined us. Some of the smaller guilds which could not offer strong castles joined us as our spy network. They would give us information where the Chinese were and where the farm accounts were and loads of stuff. So essentially the kingdom kind of it became like a spy network over the entire kingdom, so we kept an eye. You also receive stronger castles from lower guilds, as I said. Just the power grind started. Honestly, we seriously started powering up. Helping, collecting, attacking, our power skyrocketed. At one point we even had 2 or 3 different guild buildings at the same location, like a beehive of sorts. Like every single ally guild was building at the same place. Upgraded to P3 at that point, and our power rival, the Chinese, obviously the Chinese retaliated. They're not going to sit down and take it, and constant attacks were common. Also did a lot of hit and run, changing our castle name so that we are not tracked, leaving and rejoining the guild so that Chinese don't track us to the guild. Ridiculous moments, honestly. Still, despite all that, we were no match for the Chinese, because they not only had farm accounts, and they also had farm bots, which means they had a bot that constantly would gather resources, apply peace shields, and call back troops if needed. Now, our biggest breakthrough came when our God of War became a P6, which is the highest level castle. Not even the Chinese had a P6. Now we had one. So the Chinese had multiple P5 and P4s, by the way. They had more than us, but we had a P6. And that P6 got them scared, honestly. Just one castle. They started upgrading super fast, so did we. Then we had a big meeting in which we discussed the game plan, long and lengthy conversation. We got a battle plan, working. On the fateful day, we attacked in full force with several other guilds. First, we hit all their farm accounts that were open and were not P-shielded. Troops are stationed outside the fucking farms. We destroyed all of them. While they were recovering from what we just started, we also started attacking the Chinese guild directly. The P1 and P2 castles went and attacked the level 30 and lower castles in droves. I teamed up with the other P3s and P4s and attacked their powerhouses by super rallying and just completely decimated that area. Our P6 and P5 went against their P5s, and the battle got so fucking bloody that in a couple of hours of fighting, and after that for a duration of period, both our guilds were like top 10 instead of the top 2 guilds, because our power just fucking tanked. But that was a power move. While none of the guilds exactly lost, we recovered fast just in time for the king battle and recruited the P6 guy as the kingdom's king, and that's how we got a happy ending. That's not what happened. That's it's not a cringy fucking anime or some movie or something. That's not how shit goes down in real life, honestly. Our guy did become the king, by the way. But the king and the kingdom calmed down a bit, but then the holy battleground opened up. It's an event where the people from other kingdom go against our fucking kingdom. We expected we would match with a newer kingdom, but in actuality we ended up matching with an old kingdom. Now you don't fuck with the old kingdoms. Like we have a 1P6, they have like a dozen. Not to mention every single major castle and every major guild is sitting on 200 million power single-handedly. We ain't shit compared to them. Now it was still supposed to be profitable, but it ended in a disaster as the Chinese, instead of helping us, started blocking our guys, which caused a lot of casualties and our power tanked. Later, a lot of our main accounts went offline. A few of them had farm accounts. The messages from those saying their accounts got hacked. Even a P6 guy lost his account. Eventually, because of hacking, the guild broke apart. The Chinese took over. I still believe it was the Chinese that did the cyber warfare, much like they do in real life, honestly. Some of the remaining members formed a small guild, but we were like top 50, and the kingdom was filled with either new accounts, farm accounts, bots, the Chinese, the guilds who served as Chinese lapdog, and the few of us. And because there's an account limit on every kingdom as how many castles can exist at the same time, you couldn't even get many new members, honestly. And because of that, because the kingdom kind of reached its limit, because it was filled with the bots of Chinese. Eventually all members started dropping off. Some left the game, some left for new servers. I stuck around for a while. I think I got to P4, but I don't quite remember exactly. It's been a while. I left as well eventually, honestly, and that's how our saga came to an end. To become one of the top guys in the server, it took me about like a year or two, and that felt earned. The only problem really in COK is that the servers are divided and dominated by the Chinese. There are other countries hold old servers, but most new servers get dominated by the Chinese, so making it impossible for new players to rise up. So either overthrow the Chinese early on, or you join a server with Americans or some other country dominates. Thank you so much for listening to me ranting about some old game experience of mine. There's a link in the description too with my Twitter. Go follow me there. There's a link to my Patreon. Go check my hentai let's plays out. Bye bye.